This is a quick video for finding correlation, and I'm going to find correlation in Excel, but I want to just basically explain what correlation is. It's kind of a misused word. You could say correlation is an association between two sets of numbers. Typically they're talking about ordered pairs, x, y, like this. Linear correlation is what they get confused with. Linear correlation measures the strength of the linear association between two variables. Now, with that said, what it means is if I plot these coordinates on an x, y scatter plot, and in Excel there's different ways of doing it. I'm just going to go Insert, Chart, and that's my scatter plot right there. I can see that there's a positive association because as my x values get bigger, my y values are climbing. So that'd be a positive association. Move this over a little bit. I want to find the correlation. In Excel, I'm going to show you how to do that real fast. Equals, of course, correl, parenthesis, and select your first set of numbers, not the x, just the first set of numbers. And then make sure you also hit a comma, and then select the next set of numbers. So you have array 1, array 2, hit enter, and I see correlation here is 0.99. Now, linear correlation lives between -1 and 1. So this is pretty high correlation. But I don't know what these numbers represent because I just made them up. But mathematically, the linear correlation here is 0.99. The highest it can be is 1. The problem with correlation is people get it confused with causation. The high correlation does not mean that variable x is causing variable y to change. It's just that the linear trend, the linear pattern, is very linear. If I come down, here's another set of points, and I'm going to make a scatter plot with that. And I'm kind of showing you this in case you want to do it in Excel. Insert, scatter. Now I see that this one is definitely trending as I move to the right, as my x values get bigger, it's trending down. This would be a negative association. The slope of a line through those points would be negative. If I want to find the correlation again, I'm going to repeat the same process I did before. Equals, correl, get my values, and then these values. And you'll see that the correlation will be negative. In this case, a negative 0.985. So the correlation here is a little less than the correlation there. The negative just means it's sloping down. Positive here means it's sloping up. This is a little higher correlation, mostly because, or just because, the absolute value of this is a little bit higher than the absolute value of that. When you're judging the two correlations, the negatives just tell me this one's sloping down. Okay, so I'm going to forego making the scatter plot for you this time, but I am showing you this trend. Now, you could picture a line going right through those. That would be perfect correlation. So when I actually calculate it here, you're going to see that I'm going to get the highest correlation that I can, which is, well, you should be telling me what the highest is. In this case, 1. Positive slope, perfect correlation. That's what correlation means. Linear correlation is the strength of the linear relationship. How linear are the data points? This one, you could probably make a wild guess what it's going to turn out to be when I do it. -1, because it's going downhill. And my last example on correlation, when I look at this, you're seeing a parabola, parabolic, a quadratic form here. These are on the same level. If I try putting a line through this, it's going to get all confused. When I try calculating the correlation, it will do it, and it's going to give me a number. My correlation between these 5 points is 0. even though I definitely see a pattern happening here. I could go onto this chart, and I am not expecting you to follow this because it's not on the screen, but I am just going to fit a curve to this. And when I look at that, there's the parabola that would go through it. There is a function that fits it perfectly. The r squared is related to correlation, is telling me it's fitting perfectly, even though my linear correlation is 0. So just because you hear the linear correlation is high or linear correlation is 0 doesn't mean there isn't an association happening. You just got to bear that in mind.